There's some hot sauce on this thing. What more could you ask for? Alright, boys. 3:46 a.m. Just took a shower. Ran out to my car real quick. About to but mix my pre-workout. I'm just gonna mix 2 scoops into water. I say that I don't plan on dry scooping. I might do 1 scoop in the water and 1 dry scoop. Just for, I don't know. I just enjoy dry scooping at this point, and I think it hits a little bit harder. But yeah, shit, I've got to get to the gym, to be honest, because I got my day pass yesterday at around 4 a.m. So I should be showing up, around 4 a.m. But the girl at the front desk yesterday that serviced me, she was pretty nice. She said, you can show up a little bit after 4, around 4, and we'll still let you in. So I know for a fact if it's her, she'll still let me in. So good looks to her. Shout out to her for that. Hopefully she's there, so I don't have to explain myself really. But yeah, I fell asleep at like 1:30ish. Actually, my plan was to wake up at like 2:30, and close my eyes, and when I opened them again, it was 3 a.m. So I had to jump in the shower, get to my car real quick. But anyways, enough of that. Let's go. 1 generous scoop in the water. So we're gonna sip on that one, and then that's not enough for me. So crap. When I see you.
So you did not hit it. My shooter, he shoot precision. She hear me, give it a lick. Every position. He don't wanna beef, he be tipping. I woke up with 230, that one limping. I came in the game with myself.
About to show you guys 98 grams of gummy bears. I'm gonna throw the macros up on screen. About 70 grams of carbs, which is really what matters. So I ate half of them before I came. I'm gonna finish these off as I'm probably inside the gym. So I'll see you guys once I'm inside. All right, boys. I'm sad to say I walked into the gym. The girl that signed me up on that day pass yesterday was not there. There was a chick and a dude. And I told the dude, can you sign me in? I signed up for a day pass yesterday. And he goes, I'm sorry, man. Basically, he goes, I'm sorry. Day passes are one-time use. And I asked him, is it not 24 hours? And he goes, no, I just had this conversation with my manager. They're one-time use. Kind of sucks. Kind of funny because he was looking down as he was saying that, because I guess he felt like a dick. But you could have just let me in, right, bro? Shit. I mean, I don't know if he'll get fired or what, but so just turn the blind eye for another brother. But it's fine. I'm not gonna fight. There's no fighting's not gonna get me in. So I just walked back out. I said thank you. There is an EOS, my home gym. I do have a membership there. There is an EOS 5 minutes down the street. So, we got to roll with the punches sometimes. I always preach rolling with the punches, just not getting too caught up on things, not letting things affect you, just continuing to move. So, we're gonna drive there to EOS, get a good lower session in there. Probably still hit lower. I might hit shoulders and arms, but we'll see once I'm there. I'll see you guys once I'm at the gym again. Night again, you just wanna see me fall again. That's alright. I know you'll be back again for the last time. You are the dark, and you are the light. When you're not with me, I rub the buck, I'm feeling empty. Alright, boys, as promised, drove like 5 minutes. We're here at EOS in Frisco, Texas. Don't show up here looking for me, but quick pit stop at the gas station, you know, to get a what is this, replenish, you know, 7-Eleven brand Gatorade, intra-workout carbs, a little bit of electrolytes, something better to sip on than just straight up water, right? Because this is actually gonna give me some increase in my blood sugar. That way I don't crash, because all I had was my last meal about 2 hours ago, and those gummy bears. So, you know, this is basically just going to keep me going, you know, and the electrolytes are just an added bonus for a little bit more hydration. But I'm going to see you guys once we're inside. I think we're going to hit SARMS today, so shoulders and arms. I didn't want to hit legs, even though, to be honest, my last leg day did not go my way, and I was under-recovered. I was kind of rushing it, you know. So I think we're just going to hit shoulders and arms. Annihilate those, like go super crazy, stupid hard. And then leave our lower day for another day. And, you know, I partially just wanted to do it because I was trying to take full advantage of those 24 hours I had at Absolute Recomp, right? So much cool machines I wanted to use, you know. And side note, my chest and my back are stupid sore, insanely sore, and it's only been, you know, like half a day since that training session. So, you know, I annihilated chest and back, no doubt. All right, first movement for today. Starting off with triceps, flat Smith JM press, 55 pounds per side. I did a 25 for 12 reps, a 45 for 8. So we're gonna hit this for 4. That's how we're gonna gauge our top split for today. It has been a few days since I've done this movement, but let's get this shit, you guys. Let's go. So I like to put my feet up on the bench. Right now I'm doing it, I'm putting them up against the wall, just so I'm making sure my back stays flat, you know, and I don't have an arch in my back. Trying to minimize the use of anything besides my tricep, and the whole goal is for my tricep to fold kind of into and over itself like a lever, so it kind of hinges. Typically I like to do these more to the face, but I've realized as I go heavy, my elbows start to flare more, and part of what really makes this movement unique is the fact that you can get your elbow to fold into itself, and it really puts a crazy stretch on the tricep at the bottom. So I moved the bench a little bit further up so it lands a little bit more closer to my neck, a little bit further down, right, instead of being to my chin. That felt pretty good. I think we're gonna go for 75. I'm just gonna take a few minutes, you know, to get prepared. Personally, for me, This is a movement I really have to be mentally prepared for and locked in for, because there is that fear factor of crushing your neck or your face, and if you don't 100% commit to it, you're going to hold yourself back from your full potential, if that makes sense. Alright, going in for that first working set. Oh my God. Okay. I was not ready for that. To be honest, I kind of rushed that. That, and I haven't done this in a few days, so I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses for myself. I'm not satisfied getting 2 reps, because I usually get 3, 4, sometimes 5 with this weight. I haven't really progressed past that. Maybe that's my own fault for always wanting to go so heavy and not just changing my progression scheme on this movement. So now that I'm saying that out loud to myself and to you guys, I might just drop down maybe to like 60, 65, and just try to get higher reps. But if you're able to, this movement is done really well. Low reps and really heavy. Alright, took off a 5, so we're at 70 pounds per side now. And make sure my hands are nice and dry on this one. So I'm gonna go for 4 to 5 right here. Oh! 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 Come on! Fuck! Okay, we got 5. I'm happy with that. If you guys couldn't already tell, we're doing arms first. We're gonna do shoulders second. Basically, I'm just doing this as a continuation of yesterday's upper day. How I would program my upper days. Before, when I would actually do full upper, was chest, back, arms, and shoulders. Reason being, I was trying to give my chest priority, right? And then my back is already in strong point, but I'm still trying to give it priority because my chest and back are my main torso muscles, right? They make up the most mass of my upper body. And then I put arms before shoulders just because I feel like my shoulders are a little bit further developed than my arms, so they can get a little bit less priority. I mean, I used to be able to do a straight upper session right a year ago, up until a few months ago. But I mean, I guess in a good way, I've gotten so strong that by the time I get done with just chest and back now, I'm spent. So I have to do arms and shoulders on a separate day when I'm fresher, just because 9 times out of 10 now, if I try to do it after chest and back, it's all going to be watered down work, and you know, what's the point of me doing it if it's going to be watered down? I want everything to have equal stimulus and get the same amount of quality volume. All right, same load, 70 pounds. Got one more set right here. Then we're gonna do a barbell preacher. So we're gonna start with the heaviest compounds, the ones that I can load the most. Come on. Oh. 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 Fuck. God damn. I really wanted that 5th rep. But you know what? The rep count only comes second to your actual level of exertion and proximity to failure in the target muscles right here bearing my triceps right. I mean, you guys could obviously tell I barely got that last rep. I had to fight for that real hard, but I'll take that any day. So I'm gonna re-rack these weights, obviously, and then we're gonna do a barbell preacher. Probably do a overhead extension for the second tricep movement, and then a preacher curl machine just to get that and range bias, you know, that shortened contraction bias. Preacher obviously for the length and position bias because it's heaviest at the bottom in the stretch. Alright, pump cover is off. You normally won't catch me with that one, but when I'm training arms, I do like to actually see, you know, my arms working, especially on a preacher curl. You know, you could really see them contract against that pad. Okay, I'm feeling really strong on these today, so I think we're gonna try 40 pounds per side. I think the bar weight is 15. It's a pretty light bar, so should be like 95 pounds total. I might fail, but if I don't try it, we'll never know, you know. I'm feeling pretty strong though, pretty confident today. This would be a PR. At least with this setup, because maybe it's just me, but even if I'm doing, you know, just a barbell preacher curl on a seated preacher bench, having a different bar and a different bench, it's like a completely different movement for me. Let's load up that fourth 10. You know, we gotta test ourselves. Go for some shit we don't know if we can do, and try our best to do it. $40 pounds per side. Let's get this shit. Yeah, I really lock in for this shit. Oh no. Yeah. I think we're gonna have to do like 35. I can grind really hard on that first rep because it is the hardest to get it up from a dead stop. But you know, I could just tell we're not gonna be able to do this today, so I'm not even gonna waste my energy and try to do it again. I refuse to fail this shit. I know I can do this, so come on. Come on. Come on. Fuck. Damn. I really thought I was gonna get like 8 right there. Considering how 30 pounds fell. But, I mean, if you guys saw, that was a really hard first rep. I had to grind through it, but we still got it up right. After that, it gets easier. But I guess I'm just biting off more than I could chew right now. So we're gonna drop down to 30. Definitely gonna do one more set. I might do 2, we'll see. We still got one more bicep movement, so I'm gonna try and gauge whether or not it's gonna be beneficial or just you know, extra fatigue and kind of redundant. $30 pounds. I can't get 8 reps with this, at that point, I just have to leave. Let's go. Oh. That felt good. Honestly, probably gonna do one more set. This same weight. Try to get at least 8 on that second one. Most days I'll honestly take 3, 4, 5 super heavy reps, but today I'm just not feeling satisfied with that, so I'm gonna rest, do one more set right here. We're gonna do overhead extension machine, then a machine preacher, then we can move on to shoulders. Alright, one more set. My arms are already feeling pretty pumped, honestly. But, you know, we're only halfway there. 2 more movements to go. Back to the task at hand. Oh. Man. My elbows feel like they're about to explode. So do my biceps, honestly. And we're only one movement in. I'll take that though. Those are 2 sets I'm happy with. So we're gonna move on to overhead extensions. Machine preacher after that. Probably rear delts. Some type of shoulder press. Finish up with some lateral raises. Probably on the machine too. And then we might hit some abs at the end. It's been, I think like 3 days since I hit abs. Here's that Arsenal overhead extension. We got 110, the last warm up. Easy 4 reps. Okay, that felt good. I think we're gonna try like 160 on this. I used to do that on this machine, but it's been a while since I used it consistently. Not in my home gym, so home gym doesn't have the machine. But for a certain point in time, I did come here for like every other day. So I was using it pretty consistently. The whole focus here is trying to keep the shoulder fixed. Only the pivot point being right here, your elbow. So only having the elbow flex and extend. A little bit of elbow flare is natural. It's really hard, even for me, to keep my elbows perfectly tucked while they're behind me and extend them overhead. So a little bit of elbow flare is okay, but try to tuck them actively. Alright, so I actually decided to up it to 180. I already know I could do 160 on here, so like I said earlier, doing preacher curls, you gotta try something you don't know if you could do. I won't know whether or not I can do 180 if I don't try. But anyways, let's get that first working set right here. Come on. Come on. One more. Okay. That was stupid heavy. Definitely got more flared right there. I could feel it, but as long as we're not turning it into an overhead press, you know, we're still extending and not pressing. If that makes sense. I think that was a pretty good set. Might drop 10 pounds. So from 180 to 170. Try to get a little bit more tucked, you know. Have just a natural amount of flare, you know, nothing too excessive. Because to really get that, you know, the best stretch on that long head, which is kind of the whole point of doing the overhead movement for tricep, it's best to keep the elbow as tucked as you can. I watched back that last set, to be honest. It wasn't that bad, so we're just gonna go back to 180, you know, not pussy out. It felt a lot more flared than it was. I thought my arms were like out here to the sides, you know, doing like a 90-degree press, but come on. Come on. Fuck. Okay. I felt my form breaking down too much for my liking. So you guys probably think I have one or two more, which I guess I did, but it depends who you're asking, because you know the way I like to train, once if it's too sloppy and I feel like I'm starting to orient, or I'm gonna have to orient to get the next rep, that's where I cut the set, you know, because if I start twisting side to side and flaring all the way out here, I'm not even gonna be targeting the target muscle, which is the tricep, you know. I'm gonna start leaking tension to my shoulders, or wherever else my body can use to cheat. So that's our 2 sets. I feel good with that. I think my triceps feel good with that too. We're gonna go do a machine preacher. Then we can move on to shoulders. Alright, we're doing this hammer strength plate loaded preacher. Typically, this is my preacher machine curl preference. Also, typically I do this unilaterally, but obviously I can't go as heavy. So today I'm just gonna try and go as heavy as possible, and really destroy, you know, those biceps. All right, so we got our last one up right here. I just did 125-pound plate for 12, 2 for 8. So we're gonna do 4 right here. Okay, so the way I'm doing this right now is really thinking about the axis of this machine, right? How it rotates, this pivot point. I'm trying to mimic that with my bicep, right? So I'm trying to almost scoop the weight instead of just lifting it up. To simplify things, just try not to use your hands, you know. Try not to use your forearms. Try to not completely relax them, but not tense them up super hard, you know, and use them actively to lift the weight, because you're gonna be able to lift more. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be putting more tension on your biceps. So by easing up on my forearms, my wrist a little bit, and just thinking about, you know, my bicep, my elbow, which is on the pad, has, you know, stability, something to give it counterforce. I'm just thinking about squeezing and scooping my bicep, and I'm feeling it a ton more. And 75 pounds feels heavy. Whereas if I really, you know, squeeze the handles hard and tense up my forearms and use everything that I can, I could do 2 plates on here. I'm probably gonna stay at 75. That was pretty heavy even for 4, so probably gonna stay at 75. Set the goal at 8, but obviously if I get 8, I'm gonna go for 9 or 10. Rested for a little bit, maybe like a minute. We don't need too much rest, considering we're using the same weight. It's not too heavy, but you know, I'm making it harder intentionally so I can get more out of less with this. Goal is 8, but we don't stop till we fail, so let's get it. See, what was that, 6? That was hard. That was a struggle to get 6 right there. I probably could have got 8, but I would have had to start really squeezing hard on the grips, you know, and start involving my forearms. But obviously, I'm not doing this for my forearms, right? I'm doing this for my biceps. Gonna rest a little bit. Go for a second set at the same weight. If we can match that first set, I'll be happy. But if I can +1 it or get those 8 reps I was originally going for, I'll be even more happy. We'll see though. Let's get that second set. Goal is to match the first 6 reps. But if I can get more, you know, I'm gonna do more. That's all I got. But shit, I'm happy to have matched that first set, so I'll take it. Starting with rear delts. Nothing crazy. Pretty basic machine rear delt fly. Got 130. I did this for my last warm out, but I felt pretty heavy, so I'm going to use this for our working sets. Let's go. Okay. Hopefully it's not ear rape for you guys. I don't know if the mic is pressing against the chest pad, but I think that was 10 reps. That felt pretty good. Pretty simple. Just press your chest into the pad. Make sure you keep your arms extended so you keep that stretch, that rear delt. Think about leading from the pinky outside of your hand. We're gonna do 2 sets right here. Gonna do some overhead press variation. Not sure what that's gonna be yet. Probably do a machine lateral raise. Finish with some core, some abs, and call it a day. I did train rear delts yesterday, but just my muscle, and It's one of the few, if any, weak points in my physique. I can admit that. So, 2 consecutive days of training now. It's not gonna hurt me. Yeah, I already feel a decent pump in my reduction just from those 2 sets. Trying to think about what I want to do for overhead press variation. You guys probably know I like to do seated with dumbbells, but this gym doesn't have the benches I like to do that on, so not my preference, but I might do a machine. I think that's what we're gonna do, a machine variation. We opted for this hammer strength overhead press, plate loaded. Got a plate and a half right now. For our last warm-up set. Let's get our 4 reps. Easy. Now, if you ever use this machine, this is a really easy machine. Almost any overhead press in general, people have a tendency to scoot their butt forward and start to arch their back, stick their chest out. And when you do that, you start involving your upper chest, right? And you start orienting. So, without you even realizing that, you're putting yourself in a mechanically advantageous position. Simply put, you're making it easier for yourself. You're allowing yourself to do more weight than you actually can. So, almost a year ago, I was able to do 2.5 plates and up on this machine. But obviously I wasn't doing it how I do it now. Having my back completely flat, keeping the shape of my rib cage, and keeping my head nice and back, not flexing my neck. So now, even though I don't do this machine consistently, I cap out at like 2 plates, and if I do it consistently, I can get to like 8, 9, 10 reps, and just getting to 12 with 2 plates for me is a struggle. Typically, I do a dumbbell seated overhead press, but even if I did this consistently, I know it'd be a lot harder to get to above 2 plates, get to 2.5 doing it the way I do it now. Two plates loaded up. Shoot that first working set. I don't do this consistently anymore, but I gotta set a goal, so I'm gonna set my rep goal at 8. That was 5, I think. Obviously I failed attempting that 6th rep. I want you guys to realize that I could have got that 6th rep right, and maybe a 7th, maybe even an 8th, but not with the execution and, you know, keeping the structural integrity that I want. I would have to start scooting my hips forward, arching my back, maybe even orienting, you know, twisting side to side and shit, using my hips. But obviously I'm doing this movement, a shoulder press for my shoulders, right? So the whole goal is to keep the tension as much as I can in my shoulders and stop whenever my shoulders no longer have any more power, you know, any more leverage. Still at 2 plates. That's why I'm capping out for right now. But, you know, honestly, I'm happy I can still do 2 plates. Considering I don't do this, haven't done this in like a month or 2. Let me quit yapping. Let's get this second. Okay. Yeah, that is definitely humbling. I was expecting to get at least 5 right there. But I'll take 3 clean reps purely on my delts, then 5 having the last 2 be sloppy and not even doing much from my delts. I'll see you guys the last warm-up set lateral raises. So I decided to do some dumbbell laterals seated. Honestly, it's just my favorite lateral raise variation because I can go stupid heavy. I got the 30s right here. Last warm-up set for 4. So my whole goal is, you know, to be slightly bent over, that I can really line up the, you know, the path of the motion with the fibers of the side delts, but at the same time to keep I had to release some shit. Alright. A lot of people are gonna argue dumbbell lateral raises suck because you lose most of, if not all, the tension at the bottom. But I promise, if you go stupid heavy, so heavy that you have to use straps, the tension you get from the mid-range and the top is more than enough to stimulate I think the PR 40s right there, if you guys couldn't tell. But, I mean, if you don't take my word for it, just try it out, you know. Go do a seated dumbbell lateral raise. Doing it seated alone takes out a lot of the cheating. Go stupid heavy. And if you go stupid heavy, I'd argue it's even okay if you use a little bit of momentum. Because, I mean, it's 40 pounds. It's not easy to get up here. But, I mean, I'm using the straps. And all I'm thinking about is lifting my side delt, my elbow. You could think elbow. My hands, they're holding the dumbbells, right? But I'm not even thinking about my hands or my arms. So all I feel is my side delts. I don't feel any traps. I know a lot of people say they feel the traps on lateral raise. And I mean, all you have to do is not overly, you know, elevate your scapula, but keep it stable and lift that side delt on a stable scapula. Second and final set. I'm definitely not gonna beat 12, but if I can get 8 on the second one, I'll be more than happy. Come on. That's it. Shoulder and arms. I'm gonna finish up with some abs. And then we'll call it a day. Alright, so doing some GHR crunches. I already did a warm-up set, body weight for 8. I'm gonna do them with a 10 behind the head. Just some external load. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Get to toe. Fuck. That's a good set right there. I'm gonna rest a little bit. Do a second set. Try to get 12 again. But who knows? Somehow that felt better than doing it just body weight. Oh shit. One more set. And I might do a machine crunch after this to bias that shorten range. Come on, do two more. Fuck. I'm done. Definitely. Surprisingly, even though this is heaviest at the bottom, the stretch.
Girls make me drink, girls make me think, girls like it on my dick. Nah, girls, they try to get me mad, I try to make them sad, so they fall in love with me, yeah, girls.